Oh man, the Pokemon Home battle data is just awesome. It's so good to be able to look at the Pokemon that are all over the place on the battle stadium and actually see what they're trying to do or what you lost to and all of that other fun stuff. So we're going to talk about Season 3 later. Like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, all that fun stuff. I need to know what nonsense was going on in Season 1, and that is what this video is going to be about. Just kind of like my experience of the Pokemon I saw a lot, or the Pokemon that I beat, Pokemon that beat me, and just kind of getting an idea of what actually happened. So, where's Garganacl? There's no way. Well, actually, okay, so the weird thing is, day one, Garganacl was everywhere. Garganacl was like number 3 most used next to Gholdengo and Breloom or something, but it did fall off near the end, and I feel like once people made it to Master Tier, they didn't want to use Garganacl anymore. It's one of those things where, like, it's freelo, but it's so unfun and grindy, and I pressed the wrong button, or maybe like Pokemon Home reset really quick. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Only 16% of Garganacl's ran Fissure? I guess since it's the entire season, a lot of weird stuff can happen because, as we see from the data, like 60-70% of players didn't make it into Master Rank, and there's going to be like a lot of bad players that don't understand how incredible OHKO moves are. But at the top of the ladder, that was what the entire meta was. So let's see the Terra. Day 1, it was like everyone had Terra Ghost Garganacl because that was the read. That was the theory craft. And then day 2 started switching over to flying and then kind of bouncing back and forth. So it's like, oh, more flying means less Fissure, but like flying Terra anti-Fissure just kind of became the meta and became the thing. But I was expecting to see way higher usage. I want to see something silly like 60% Terra flying Garganacl, and then just like some other weird stuff and interesting breakdowns. As for the items, I found leftovers to be the best, and if I already had a leftovers Pokemon on the team, it actually significantly hurt the Garganacl. A lot of people running Iron Defense Body Press, which is good until everyone had Ghost, but I guess when everyone switch off Ghost, then it's fine, because like +6 Body Press, even with the flying is a thing, but if the opponent's Garganacl goes Terra Flying, you need a hard answer to that, like a Guillotine Pokemon. That just doesn't feel right, but it also shows how you want to use these Pokemon stats, that they're going to be updating constantly throughout the season, so you can kind of see how the meta's changing, what the usage is changing on the Pokemon, and that's going to be very valuable. Then, like, at the end, it all kind of mashes together and doesn't make as much sense. And another thing that I've been, like, very adamant about throughout the entire history of my channel for almost a decade now is just because something is popular doesn't mean it's good. Like, all the Paradox Pokemon, my experience becoming the rank 1 English player in singles really backed up my belief that Paradox Pokemon aren't that good. So there's a lot of predictable stuff to manipulate that we'll talk about in the next video. But let's kind of go back to it. Yep, Gholdengo, number 1 though. This is not a surprise. However, the Pokemon's moveset, like, they're always going to have Make It Rain. They're always going to have Shadow Ball. And then after that, it's just RNG. So that's kind of where you can really see a lot of ugly inside of the Pokemon Generation 9 meta, and all that there's so many different kinds of tech that have developed inside of Pokemon, because we have, you know, Trick Scarf to anti-a-tank, we also have Nasty Plot for the setup, Substitute to anti-setup, and like all this other stuff to where it does become kind of impossible to predict, and then Terastallizing adds another layer of insanity to that. But then the opposite is VGC having open team sheets, and I can't imagine anything less skilled than that inside of Pokemon. Like, it even shows the Terra type, so you don't have any way of catching your opponent off guard, which is a big part of Pokemon and team building. So it really looks like they're trying to remove a lot of strategy and stuff like that. Gholdengo items, Choice Scarf being the most common, but like a 1 in 3, so it's like a 1 in 3 chance you get Trick Scarf. How do you play around that? And then Covert Cloak wasn't being used early on, but it ended up getting a lot of adoption because, you know, Garganacl coming in, sprinkling some salt, made it very, very difficult for Gholdengo to exist. Some of the other Pokemon, we have Dragapult, so Trashapult at number 2. So let's see what Trashapult was up to. So 1/3 was special attack, 2/3 was physical, only 1/3 made room for the Sucker Punch because, like, you're one of the fastest Pokemon, so it's only like weird Scarf or Speed scenarios that almost never happen. 1/5 relying on the Terra Blast, and then Terra type. So yeah, you can see like Dragon Ghost. Well, you already get that in Stab, so you wouldn't need to Terra Blast it. Almost like physical Terra Ghost because you have trash coverage. I don't think I saw physical Terra Ghost Dragapult, and that sounds like it might be okay. and then all kinds of other Terra types for the Dragapult. I'm wondering if like the ones near the bottom that are like 1% usage or just people caught it in a raid and then didn't want to change it. Because Kurt told me an interesting stat when he was showing like all the hackers from the previous season and VGC so far. He said that 74% of Pokemon had a Terra type different than the one they were caught with. Yeah, too much cheating. And we could also kind of see that, like, as you're just going through, it's like, these Terra types are changing faster than I can obtain the shards in the meta. So, but something like 500 of these 680 Pokemon had their Terra type changed. So you can kind of see, like, yeah, the legit players just trying to grind it out versus the people that are just, like, hacking in full shiny or just full competitive meta teams every 4 hours as the meta changes. Hydreigon actually felt really common, but I didn't really see it as a good or threatening Pokemon in a lot of situations. Terra Steel being fairly common, the most common actually. So that's weird. And another thing to consider is that 99% of players, 98% of players are Asian, with like 90% total or over that being Japanese. So their meta is going to be different, and that's kind of something to play around, where it's like, yeah, Steel Hydreigon being over half usage just kind of really feels like a Japanese cheeky meta kind of thing. While editing the video, I realized that Hydreigon is probably getting insane amounts of usage, mostly because of Gholdengo. Like, Gholdengo is so prevalent and so strong that a single hard counter just, like, can go to one of the most used Pokemon. Also, Hydreigon's a comfort Pokemon. I don't consider it to be super strong, but you can kind of see, like, these natural counters and these natural things kind of working out. If you really get into it, it's like, dang, that's kind of crazy. Meowscarada, I want to know how many of these bad boys are running, like, the Sucker Punch. Only 43%. Interesting. So we have, like, the U-turn for the choice item, knockoff having more priority in this slower, bulkier meta. Play rough for the coverage, trick as well. So it's like you either run the trick or you run the Sucker Punch. I think U-turn or switch moves have generally been really bad. Dragonite number 5? Dragonite wasn't super common and kind of, like, gained it with the Terra Normal, but Terra Normal's terrible. So, again, not threatening, but now Dragonite's number 1 Season 3, so we'll see how that plays out. Choice Band being the most, and then a lot of Lumberry as well. That really felt like it. Like, if you found a way to get a status onto a Dragonite, it always had Lumberry, and when you didn't, it always had Choice Band, and it was just wall breaking. So that's another weird thing, like, Dragon Dance is only half usage on the Dragonite. That's kind of what you consider for, like, Giga Sweeping, because if you get one Dragon Dance with your multi-scale, you have a Choice Band, a Choice Scarf at the same time while being able to change your moves. But that doesn't really matter in this meta. It's better to just be a 3-hit KO Pokemon that one-shots many things with the Choice Band, and then I still don't see... Like, what does Extreme Speed do? It doesn't do anything to add Stab to an 80 base power move. And then, like, since you're banded, you can't really switch out, and even the non-banded Dragonites are... then you don't have any damage, and you're using Extreme Speed to kind of, like, finish off a frail Pokemon that would be faster than you. It's just not good. A lot of Mimikyu. Rotom at the end of Season 2 started getting an insane amount of usage, but is number 10. Like, yeah, Rotom felt like 3rd for that, and then Season 1. Like, what's with this Dragonite? Why Dragon... Yeah, again, Japanese meta kind of weird, but at least, again, very predictable, because it's generally going to be the same thing over and over. Like, let's see what the Volcarona Terra type is. Grass. You predict it, you have a 1 in 3 chance. Also, Fairy. So, like, just assume it's going to be Grass or Fairy, and then don't throw into that. And they're usually going to be quick on the Terra to then go into the Quiver Dance as safe as possible. Very few running Morning Sun. They're really relying on going, like, Quiver Dance, Terra Grass, and then Giga Draining everything up inside the bulk, but that just doesn't feel right. Couple of Swarm. We don't get to see natures and stats and stuff, which is pretty unfortunate. But that's kind of what I care least about with all the weirdness going on. Baxcalibur. Alright, put in your bets. How much Terra Ground? 41%. How is there more Steel Hydreigon? Because it really felt like they were all Terra Ground on Baxcalibur. Like, that was it. Turn 1, Terra Ground Earthquake. No matter what it was. It just didn't make any sense. They turned their Baxcalibur into a Garchomp instead of running Garchomp. Dondozo. So, yeah, now we can actually see, like, the bulk quad right here. Corviknight, Garganacl, Clodsire, and Dondozo. 4 of the most filthy, powerful Pokemon in the game. Dondozo shaping the Fissure meta with the highest usage on Oko. That's what I love to see as a tank player. I also hate to see it as someone who had to experience it going into the grass. The Dragon Dondozo felt better to me because you're turning those weaknesses into resistances and not really worrying too much. Terra Water for that damage. Like, Dondozo has good base stats. It trucks. It's stupid. High amount of Yawn, but it's like, yeah. Fissure Rest. Sleep Talk 1 and 3. So, there's a lot of Dondozo that just didn't care and ran only the rest because that's all that matters. Like, you Yawn Rest, the opponent's asleep, you're asleep, you're fissuring, and then against a bulk matchup, you can't get KO'd. Items. Leftovers. Yep, that's how you do it. Yeah, Trash Ape, I did my moveset guide on it. It can pretty much only be ran one way. Terra Normal to get rid of the Ghost weakness. Yeah. And then Stuff. Punching Glove. Oh, it's so terrible. Why? Choice Scarf. So there's 10% Final Gambit usage, is there? Interesting. Happy to not see a lot of Magnezone, and were any Magnezone running Body Press? 9%. Because, yeah, that was a big thing that, like, I think I was misplaying a lot, or I was psyching myself out in a weird way, because Blissey trucked. Chansey trucked in Pokemon Sword and Shield, but then Magnezone was ridiculously high usage and also had the Body Press to kind of counter out the Blissey and the Chansey, and it felt really bad. But now, like, I think I've just been, like, yeah, the Terra Blast has kind of taken that over. I'm guessing there's some Terra fighting in here. No. Wow, so yeah, there's just no respect for Blissey Chansey. Right, Magnezone was Isle of Armor, so Blissey actually had, like, a reign of terror until this happened. And then, what were the moves? Body Press, 58%. So, I was, like, and the thing is, we didn't have the data. I didn't have Pokemon Home to go, wait, this Magnezone is not a threat to my Blissey, but I was still having the PTSD from when the previous game, it was much different. And by not wanting to lose a game by bringing Blissey, expecting their Magnezone with another physical attacker, and then just not being able to set up, I might have actually thrown a couple of games just because I'm like, where's the Body Press? Because then I'm going to see another Magnezone, I'm going to try to ego it, and there's going to be another Body Press. But no, that's actually just not happening. You are safe to Blissey into the Magnezone. Let's go. Grimmsnarl. What is this looking like? Yeah, Taunt's only 1 and 3. So not all running Taunt. And then the trick is effectively a Taunt, and then it's like some weird stuff. Glimmora. Alright. Who's running the correct Glimmora? Not a lot. Actually, no, that'd be the item usage. And this is why going off of usage is completely fraudulent. Because Choice Specs Glimmora is the best moveset, and also one of the best Generation 9 Pokemon on paper and in practice. But I guess not everyone was running max defense, max special attack, Vaporeon, Dynamax in Generation 8, even though that was disgustingly good. And then we can see some Scizor. What are people running on the Scizor? It's mostly items, because, like, that kind of dictates the moveset. 60% Choice Band. Everyone's Terra Steel. Yeah. Like, you have that, but you never feel correct in using it, because they're going to have a Dondozo, because they're going to have, really just all kinds of Pokemon that get in the way of that. You see Gholdengo, that Scizor's not going to have that great of a time. We have Sylveon, Hyper Voice. Oh yeah, see, not everyone run the Choice Specs Terra Fairy. Oh, see, the scuffed Japanese meta where it's like, yes, normal or not Dragapult, normal Dragonite, terrible. Fire Sylveon, that ain't it. It's kind of funny how some of the really strong bulky Pokemon pair up. Like we have Hippowdon and Mungus right next to each other. So Hippowdon, 3% Fissure usage. Fraudulent. And also really weird because that is not my experience playing this game where it was Fissure meta. The game is Fissure meta. I don't get it. Yeah, and then just kind of like goes down and we can see that every fully evolved Pokemon or competitive Pokemon pretty much gets representation. Top 150. And did someone have like Cheese, Sheer Cold, Garganacl, please? I'm bringing back Sheer Troll, guys, don't you worry, because it really seems like if that's where the meta's going, and everyone's playing slow and ugly, we'll show them ugly. We have more Blissey than Chansey. Let's see how many are running Defense Curl. None. I've got the best tech, and no one else uses it. Nice. 10% Seismic Toss, some Terra Blast. Flamethrower ended up being the high pickup. So I guess I had that secret, like that surprise for a while, but now everyone's anticipating it. Terra Fire Mine is still low usage. People going Ghost or Dark. Why Dark? You are just adding weakness. Yeah, the Blissey items are a complete mess. What is this Light Ball trolling? It, like, fling Light Ball... Is there, like, some kind of one-shot Blissey gimmick where you go Terra Dark into fling Light Ball for the high base power? That is the dumbest stuff ever. However, with only, like, it's 54th, so almost no one was running the Blissey, which means, like, small little things. I guess that was some kind of, like, really trash... Yeah, this is Season 1 singles. Some trash rental team, I guess. Alright, now that's just hilarious. So, unfortunately, Vaporeon, one of the lower used Pokemon, and one of the least used Evolutions. So guess what all the teammates are? Evolutions. That's interesting. We got Terra Grass, which sounds terrible. Leftovers, Water Absorb. Oh, people are just running like pseudo offensive. But Calm Mind, that's it. Like, where's the Calm Mind Vaporeon unkillability? Well, you can't really survive, especially as a water type, in this Fissure meta. And then Houndstone wasn't really picked up that much. So yeah. Alright, so I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to know about, or at least like the biggest things that are in the front of my brain. But now you can actually kind of use it. So if you see something, you can go check it on Pokemon Home, maybe get a better idea of what the rest of the moveset was, since we don't have Team Peak. That's one of the dumbest things. Game Freak removes battle replays, removes Team Peak, but then keeps in rental teams, which only promotes and encourages hacking, and then no creativity, and hasn't done anything to get more people playing in competitive Pokemon. Awesome. Yeah, now you can kind of see what's beating you, maybe get an idea of other Pokemon to use and stuff like that. Choice Scarf Ditto, 101st place, which is kind of wild. 99.9% imposter. Only knows Transform. It's weird. With all the setup and anti-setup, you would expect more Dittos, but Ditto just never found a footing because everyone wants to use all the other broken Pokemon. Why use Ditto when you gotta run Garganacl? You gotta have another tank, you know, Skeledirge or something like that. Hippowdon for me. Gholdengo is pretty mandatory, and then you need to have like anti-Dragapult, Hydreigon, Baxcalibur Pokemon. Yeah, Dondozo's in there, and then boom, there's no room. Like, that's kind of the biggest issue I've had with team building, is that there's no room once you put in staple Pokemon, because it's all staples. Either way, hope you guys enjoy the video. I had fun with this, and we're going to continue to have fun with it. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.